play was kind of, to me, was, I know it wasn't really targeted back to Americans,
right.
But they took an American comic and pretty much it looks nothing like the American comic, story-wise, plot-wise, and anything like that.
Right.
It just has some of the cool,
They totally Japanified it.
Exactly.
Yeah. No. I think, just as short answer to your question, I don't want to imply by any means that all Japanese are saints and all Japanese working in the anime industry are just pure artists.
Yeah.
But one of the big differences, if you're doing the kind of reporting I've done where you're interviewing people in Los Angeles and in New York, and then you go back to Tokyo or Nerimaku in West Tokyo or even Osaka and talk to people in the anime industry, is there's much, much, much less emphasis on money and marketing. And that's one of the problems in the industry because they really don't have marketing strategies. And so it's kind of baffling at times, but also it can be really refreshing because I think if they take a Witchblade and they want to do something with it, it's because they just really like it.
They're not really worried about trying to gain an audience they felt that they've lost, like the American comic companies that felt they lost the younger generations.
Right.
The generations that are coming up grow up on manga and anime.
Well, Stan Lee is working with a Japanese, somebody was telling me he's working with Japanese artists right now.
Yep. Ultima.
Yeah, Ultima, right. He's working with Japanese artists right now. So I think actually the movement is in the other direction. Americans are reaching out and trying to work with Japanese artists and learn about this stuff that Americans find so attractive right now. Incidentally, Dark Knight, the last Batman film, there was a companion DVD that came out called Gotham Knight.
Yeah.
And it was an omnibus, 6 different installments done by Japanese artists in the most cases. And I think the best of them completely depart from Batman as we know him. And take off in a new direction that is quite fresh and quite interesting. So I don't think there's any self-conscious attempt to sell back to the Americans their own ideas. Yeah, a couple more minutes. Do we have? Yeah.
Question.
Speak up.
I have a question. Great reference to Akihabara.
Akihabara? Yeah.
Yeah. Question now, why do Japanese still have so many arcades in Tokyo? Because I went to Tokyo.
Arcades.
Yeah, they still have huge places just full of arcades as opposed to America, where you really can't find big arcades. I mean, you can, but not as much as in Japan.
Right. That's a really great question. Why are there so many arcades still around in Japan, especially in the age of the personal computer and the cell phone that can do all these things? I try to answer very, very quickly. First of all, you're talking about Japanese cities, right?
Yeah.
Japan is a commuter culture, right? A heavily commuter culture, and most commuters are on public transportation. So if you have some time to kill, before you get on your train and go way out, maybe an hour and 45 minutes to your suburban apartment, you're walking around this densely compact, densely crowded city. Popping into an arcade is a natural, right? You can pop in, it's safe. Japanese cities by comparison are quite safe. So it's not this closed off space, the door opens automatically for you, you step in, and suddenly you're in a fantasy land where you can hang out for an hour or whatever and play your game and just really groove on it. I also think culturally, partly because of the stricter divide between public and private selves, and I'll say this very quickly in shorthand. Tatamaya, some of you studying Japanese, tatamaya is sort of your public self, the way you behave when you're around your boss and your superiors. And hone is, in a sense, how you really feel, what you really want to do. So it's rather strictly defined. So what that means is when you're in your office on the 34th floor, you're behaving really strictly according to you hand your meishi, your business card over and you bow very, very deeply if the guy's above you and whatever, and you drink your tea and so on. But once you cut out of that scene, it's like anything goes, as long as you don't hurt anyone.
Yeah.
So you can go play this video game where you're chopping people to bits on the screen or firing a submachine gun at Bambi or whatever. And the point, sorry, that's too soon. But my point is, you can take it to these extremes in your fantasy on your break, and then pop back to the office for another round of work, or pop into izakaya and get a bite to eat, and then hop on the train and head home. And that's another reason why manga and these forms have been able to take off in Japan, because Japanese spend a lot of time on the trains by comparison. And so you have a lot of time when you can play with your cell phone and check out video sites and so on, and download a manga even, or an anime on your cell phone.